Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, and atheist one, too, and all in between. This is for the absolute positive, good God and truth of your lives, only crossing bigger and better, alive and well forevermore. If you don't know that the only bad, evil, sinful way of you, right, is just negative of being more positive and good, one nothing of being more positive and good, right, as truth, you won't always cross back more positive to be good as truth. The only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth only to an absolute bigger, better here and now of you. And all else you have is faith. See, if it's not more positive than negative, right? The only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth, the only other option you have is the faith of you. And all faith is a blind leading blind imbalance on reality check. And depending on the variables of your faith, how it swings from positive to negative, right? Not knowing that anything bad, evil, and sinful is just negative, and only cross it back to one more positive, right? Because the articulation of no faith expresses this, right? In reality, right, it is the imbalance of the world. And when our leadership crisscrosses us with faith, right, instead of only more positive to be good as truth, right, in reality check, their governance, their judgment, their prosecutions, all that they are is knowledge from being good leadership as truth. And when they create victims, crooks, prisons, jails, and wars by this negative articulation of faith, right? In reality, like I said, it's blind leading blind, but they're only setting an example of suicide and death to all they love, cherish, and are, because not one thing, creation applied one to the here and now existence of all, God, truth, reality check, ever suffered out of existence, decayed, disintegrated, or died by being more positive than the negatives of it. That's the only way any body of atom matter evolved can add up, stay, or be good as truth, lasting only consistently to an absolute bigger, better here and now of them. And like I said, all faith has positive variables, right? But in reality, those variables are only negative to what is good as truth, because they don't know that that's the good God and truth of them. So they don't always teach through the faith and the followers of them to only cross all things negative back more positive to keep them good as truth. They don't know that anything bad, evil, and sinful, right, is just negative of them being more positive, good as the truth of God of them to the here and now of reality check. So no faith or the followers of the faith are good as truth ever. And in reality, it's the decay and disintegration, it's the suffering and death from the mind through the body to the world, through our leadership. And I don't care if it's one atom or a mountain of atoms, right? If this atom matter evolved is more positive than anything negative about it, it can't be destroyed, okay? If you stay more positive than anything negative about you, right, you can't be destroyed, okay? If you plug a plug into the wall, right, the positive energy better outweigh anything negative about that plug, okay? The male better outweigh anything female about the plug, because if not, you could either burn your house down, right, or you won't have enough energy to sustain your electronics, okay? And you are half male, you are half female, okay? But before that, as long as that plug is plugged in and everything's more positive than anything negative about it, it's absolutely impossible that your house will burn down, okay? And your appliances won't work correctly. You're half male, you're half female. Only cross one more positive than all negativity. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth to an absolute bigger, better here and now of you. And it's impossible to burn out from. I mean, who would ever grow old or get tired of being more positive than anything negative about them when that only makes them feel good as truth? That is a timeless, endless way of being. And it's absolutely impossible not to have enough energy to stay good as truth, timeless and endless as your being, okay? If you've heard anything that I've stated, right, you will know that I state that Jesus, right, was only a man that was one more positive than all negativity, good as the truth of God of his shape, form, and mass, okay? When they put him on the cross, right, the thief bonded one more positive than all negativity, good as the truth of God of Jesus Christ. And Jesus said, you'll be in paradise with me. It's all part of a bigger, better plan, right? He didn't scream out, oh God, why have you forsaken me? He screamed out, oh God, don't forsake me, because he knew he was good as truth. And where the mind goes, the body must follow. If you only preset your mind to only be one more positive than all negativity, right? Good as the truth of God of your shape, form, and mass, and then you no longer have a mind to articulate it. It's all that your body knows to be. And Jesus understood this, and so did the thief. And they stole their lives back from all of those faithful fools who put him on the cross, and that fool of faith who hung himself out to one neutral nothing, just infinitely negative of him here and now, forevermore. And the thief woke up before Jesus. He rolled back the tomb, right? Sent Jesus on his rightful, truthful way, alive and well. And when Mary seen him, he was shining more positive than anything negative. She said, where'd he go? Have you seen him? The thief said, he went that way. And she kissed him and called him an angel. And this is how this story went. Okay? Now, everything atom matter evolved, right, is made of protons, neutrons, and electrons, okay? The protons and neutrons are on the inside of the atom, and the electron field is on the outside of the atom. Now, every matter creation of existence puts off its own energy, okay? And depending on the point in which this electron or electron field, right, is exposed to you, depending on your polarity and your energy, is depending on how you absorb it. Either one more positive, protonic, to the good truth of your shape, form, and mass, only crossing bigger and better, or negative of protonic, one nothing of protonic, to the good truth of your shape, form, and mass, only crossing bigger and better. Inside a proton is 2 up quarks, 1 down quark. And inside a neutron is 2 down quarks, 1 up quark. Now, the neutron isn't neutral, and it isn't nothing of its own energy, okay? And it's the soul and the matter of you, and it's always negatively deficient of stabilizing itself, more protonic always, okay? And the proton is the positive energy, the good truth of God, of the stabilizer of the negative energy of the matter of the neutron, meaning if the proton is more positive than anything negative about the neutron is solidified good as the truth of an indestructible atom, right? And one nothing of negativity, okay? Now, on the outside of an atom, when a neutron isn't stabilized more protonic than anything neutronic about it, it pulsates, and eventually it collapses into a black hole abyss on itself, just infinitely negative of it here and now with the erratic energy of it. Its matter can't sustain it. When it's part of a neutron star, it pulsates with this erratic energy, not being overwhelmed, more protonic than neutronic, and it collapses into a black hole abyss of it, just infinitely negative as a pulsar of it to one nothing of it here and now, of more positive and good, just a black hole abyss on this matter, infinitely negative of the here and now, one nothing of the here and now. Okay? And when you crisscross negative with negativity, right, over a volume of time, right, your body's matter can't sustain it. The neutrons of you cannot sustain this erratic negative energy, and you collapse into a black hole abyss, just infinitely negative of you here and now. Okay? And if you're a man or a woman, the only way you can crisscross negative with negativity is through the imbalance of the faith of you. Okay? All faith is less than what is good as truth, or that's all anybody would be for their faith. All faith is, again, less than good as truth, because if it wasn't, that's all we would have been from Adam and Eve, and that's all the world would be as good as truth through the articulation of the faith of us. And what I'm stating today would be nothing. Okay? But in reality check, all faith, right, knows not what is good as truth, because all faith state that things cross bad, evil, and sinful. And all of those things are just negative to what is more positive always, to be good as truth, okay? And even though all faith has positive variables, right, if you don't know to always stay more positive than negative, is the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth, you're not, no matter how positive you think you are. In reality check, an animal feels good, an animal feels bad, an animal feels happy, an animal feels sad, okay? And when you crisscross with this faith, right, not knowing to only make your life with every decision of you, right, only more positive, to keep your matter, the neutron of you, solidified good as truth, and the negative of it nothing, right? Either you take on too much energy, right, and your neutrons turn into protons, right? Or you don't have enough energy to sustain the good truth of your shape, form, and mass. And through this faith, it's a snake on the neutron of you, okay? It's a snake of energy, of negative energy, crisscrossing you negative with negativity. And to crisscross negative with negativity is the incarnate she, he, shafting devil of all people, places, and things, stating that things cross bad, evil, and sinful through the hallucinations of you, the nutty, fruity, bushwhacking hallucinations of you. And over a volume of time, right, your matter, the neutrons of you can't sustain it, because they're not more positively protonic than anything negative about them, to where the neutron has nothing of a negative charge, and your body and your life collapses from life to death into a black hole abyss of you, just infinitely negative of you here and now, with the devilish hells of you forevermore. And that's a fact of God check, God, truth, and reality check. Like I said, you can tell an animal, good boy, bad girl, sit, stay, lay, right? A monkey or a doggy will understand these things, but that animal will never, ever understand to only go do more positive than anything negative to keep you good as truth. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth. And because our leadership, right, doesn't understand this or articulate this, right, and they state that things are bad, evil, and sinful, and then they create victims, jails, victims, crooks, prisons, jails, wars, and the conflicts, convicts of us. They have us all living and dying like animals with their caged minds of faith. Again, the state of one more positive than negative is the only light, joy, warmth, good God or truth, holy with spirit, all of all will ever know or be. It's the only state that all of all in body of atom matter evolved is stated good to the truth of God, their shape, form, and mass, only crossing to an absolute bigger, better here and now of reality check. It's the only state that all prayers are answered in, all miracles happen in, all of all dreams come true in, and it's the only heavenly abode or paradise you will ever know or be in. And that is a fact of God check from the full thief man, God, King, Adam man first evolved, the triple male of all I am. Where two or more atoms come together, Jesus said, where two or more come together in my name, I am there. Where two or more atoms cross and bond, only Christ-like, one more positive than all of all negativity, they make the good truth of God of every shape, form, and mass you can think of, not to exclude every dimension of time and space you can think of, and every shape, form, and mass of the God of Allah of all for everlasting peace I am, the absolute good truth of God of the life of Jesus Christ, the Atomist man, King Adamus of all, God, truth, reality check I am, the Father, Son, and Thieving, Holy Spirit of all mankind's negativity to one, neutral nothing, I absolutely positively am. And that is a fact of God check, again, from the full thief man, God, King, Adam man first evolved, the triple male of all I am. Peace.